happy to call in another great lady with a lot of good things to say. Liz Peek, the columnist for the Fiscal Times, is joining us from Newsmax, New York. Liz, was this an attack of candor or arrogance on the part of Mr. Gruber?
Well, I think it's both. But by the way, it's the kind of message you've heard from this administration over and over. I think they actually do disdain the American voter. I think Obama feels that, I think actually in his press conference the other day, you sort of had the sense that he was angry that people didn't come out to vote for him, even though he'd asked them to. You know, again, I think that, we have lots of reasons that they might be right, that people have come out and voted for them, even though the policies they've promulgated have really not worked. So maybe you do get to that place where you think, gosh, anything we say, people are going to buy it. But really, this was really pretty unconscionable, and it does shake your confidence in the sort of genuineness, if you will, of their promotion of Obamacare. But we've seen that before. They've lied about Obamacare. They've lied about the rationale behind it. We all know that it's basically a distribution of income scheme. And, if that's what it is, fine. But let's not be cynical about its cause and its effect. And they have been both.
I like the word cynical, Liz. The tone was pretty clear. Now, this arrogance from him is especially interesting, given that 28 Democrats who voted for the very law he thinks the American voters were too stupid to understand were, can we say, fired by the American people last Tuesday?
Well, okay. And again, coming back to President Obama's take on all this, which I really find just sort of unimaginable, he continually talks about the messaging being wrong, right? And he actually, after the 2010 election, that was his mantra too. It isn't that the policies are bad or the programs are bad, it's we haven't explained them properly. Well, okay, again, I mean, the underlying assumption there is people are too stupid to understand, what is it, 500 speeches that he's given on Obamacare and that the staff has given on Obamacare, but voters just don't like it. They don't think it's a good program. They're totally right, but they're just too stupid to measure up to this administration's expectations.
Liz,
it's really pretty amazing.
Liz, I guess the way to say it politely would be a benign paternalism that so many on the left seem to enjoy, that government, these things are so complicated that we in government are here to provide them and to explain them. But the bottom line is that Mr. Gruber was being very candid, this notion that Americans are too stupid to figure these things out. And I guess my question is, Liz, is that the undergirding principle of modern American liberalism, that the masses are too stupid to understand this and we have to have these really smart leftists in charge to do things for us?
I think that's an interesting question. I think there is certainly a paternalism. Look at this whole war on women meme and these horrific cartoons, if you will, about how the federal government's going to take care of women. I find that so offensive. It is so paternalistic. It treats women as truly dumb objects who don't know enough about how to, assess the merits of programs and policies. And who really want to be taken care of from birth to grave. I find that so offensive. And so maybe, yes, maybe that is the underpinning, if you will, of the liberal tenet that people can't take care of themselves and the federal government has to do it for them. But what a shocking thought.
Amen to that, Liz. Now, let me ask you in 20 seconds, if you can, answering that. And that was my little editorial there. We've been reporting since yesterday that millions fewer are going to be enrolling in the Obamacare, less than expected, obviously. Is this a sign that it's just not working?
Well, I think it isn't working, but I also think this is a sign that they're figuring out that the constant underachievement has really undermined whatever enthusiasm there has been for this bill. The setting of goals and not measuring up. The only positive moment that Obamacare had was last spring when they overachieved in terms of enrollments. It turned out to be bogus.
And speaking of that bogus thing, we're going to come back and talk more with you, Liz, right after this.